My name is Eric Friedman. I'm the Executive Director of the Mad River Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we're here for our Coffee and Conversation series. Thanks everyone for coming. Today's topic is Country Christmas. A little early, we've got the foliage going on, but want to talk a little bit about Country Christmas, and I wanted to sort of guide this discussion a little bit so that all of our business community can kind of get an understanding of what we're trying to do in terms of promotion of various special events. And I think Norwich, that weekend, which was just a couple of weeks ago, was kind of a beta test of what we were trying to do. And one of the things that when I came on board with the Chamber, I really noticed that there were a lot of disparate events going on, and it's very hard to promote them. And that we needed to create vehicles that make it easy for us to promote it as the Chamber, but as also with each of the businesses being able to just take something prepackaged and easily be able to share it and utilize social media in a more simple way. So, and just giving everyone the tools and a toolbox to promote it. So what we did with the Norwich thing was to create a webpage, Norwich 200. And on that, I went out to the business community and said, hey, let's make an offer. All these people are coming here. We have 8,000 people staying over at Norwich. 2,000 of them are staying here in the Valley. We know they're here. Let's welcome them and let's make some offers to them. So we did this webpage, madrivervalley.com/Norwich200. About 15 businesses created welcomes and offers and just tried to greet these people. And I think we had some success with that. But the reason we wanted to create this webpage is that the Chamber could utilize that webpage and promote it via social media channels. You can promote it via Instagram. You can link it through Facebook. I can send it out to the lodges as part of one of their, to encourage them to send it out to their visitors before they come, saying, hey, here's your confirmation. Glad you're coming. And, oh, by the way, this is the stuff that's going on in town. We're really glad you're here. Welcome to Norwich. It's more personalized. We tried to do a good job of that and create this opportunity for people to share it more easily. So that was the original, like I said, the first time we tried to do this. The next thing coming down the pike, well, there's actually a couple of them. One is the Tiny House Festival. We know we have a bunch of people coming for that. If we can try to put a web page together for that, that one's smaller and shorter term, and we're going to work on that one. But today we want to talk more about Country Christmas, which has a bit more of a longer timeline. Historically speaking, Country Christmas, which I didn't quite realize until I came to take this job, was just one weekend, and then it became one day of all sorts of things going on that particular day. And I'm like, okay, that seems like a lot of work and effort to put this whole thing together for one day, which if it rains or we have really bad weather or something happens, it all goes for naught. And what I was thinking about, and then Ginger and I were talking about it, and then we started talking to some of the retailers about it, was the idea that why don't we turn Country Christmas into a longer period of time, an umbrella for which all other things fall into. So we want to encourage, so basically what we'll do is we'll have a madrivervalley.com/Country Christmas webpage. And Country Christmas goes from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And there's all these things that are going on during that time period. And if the Bridge Street folks want to have reindeer rides, we can have reindeer rides, and we'll put that underneath there on that particular day or that particular weekend. If over at Irisville Common they want to do something over there, or Warren Village, or down in Middlesex at Red Hen, maybe they want to do something over there. And all of those different events, different sales, different things, whatever it is, whether it's the art festival, whether it's an individual sale, 20% off on things that are red and green at the Green Closet. For this 2-week period or whatever. Then it's something that's easily promotable. We can use that and promote it very easily with a link from social media in various points. And then again, we can encourage our local businesses to do the same, and that just adds more power. And then layered on top of that is if we can utilize a hashtag campaign that was well coordinated. And if we talk about, with what we did with the Instagram panel last week, and folks haven't seen what we did with that panel about how our community can work together to use the Instagram platform, is really, really valuable. And I really would encourage business owners to check that out as well. And that's been videotaped and you can see that. But generally speaking, that's kind of what we were thinking. And Country Christmas is the next thing. And we'll build this page and welcome people, and then go out to the business community and say, hey, what do you want to offer to get them into Taste Place? What is it they want to do to get them into the Green Closet? What we can do to get them into Complexions? And it sounds like it kind of worked with the Norwich experiment, right? What was your experience with that?
So I didn't put any special offers in. I just used the hashtag in one of my Instagram posts, and 2 people came in from the Norwich event. One was a graduate and the other was a friend of a graduate. And they were staying here in town.
Right. I really appreciate what you said about, I didn't make an offer. I think that it's not discounting, and I don't want to think that what we're trying to do is to encourage folks to do that. It's just be welcoming and to create the vehicle to show the cool stuff that you're doing. You have a really great service, and just another opportunity to tell people about that service. You've got a great place to talk about and a great story. It's like just give an opportunity to talk about those sorts of things and say, hey, welcome, come. We want you to come here for this. And oh, by the way, Santa Claus is going to be here on this Saturday. And then we can promote it over the course of 6 or 8 weeks.
I think that's a great idea, stretching it out. Because there's so many, you would always see the kids walking around and they want to make cookies, they want to roast chestnuts, they want to wait for but it's all in one day, and then it's...
Right. Mary, did you have some experience with it, with the Norwich?
We had a really great turnout of Norwich folk on Friday. We had the big poster that you gave us in the front window, and it's my sort of sense was that it was people staying in the valley, and it was a lot of the lodging owners that had sent people to us, which is really fantastic. And then what I had heard from them was that Saturday Norwich just had this massive amount of activity, so everyone had we're leaving right away on Saturday morning and going down. So we didn't see as many on Saturday, but we really had a great day on Friday with them all coming in. And Friday we didn't even have anything extra. We had the tasting on Saturday, but didn't have anything on Friday. But it was still a really great turnout, and they all seemed really they were so happy to be here too. So yeah, it was nice.
No, I'm glad to hear that, and I think that one of the things that you said is that the lodge owners were sending people there, and that's the big thing that we really want to get people to understand is that the lodge owners should do this not because they want to help your business, but they should want to help your business, and they do. But the most important thing is show them a good time. Show your guests a good time and work from the customer service before they even arrive, saying, this is what's going on. There's all this great stuff. You can take a Sugar We're Soaring, what an amazing thing, going up for a ride on a glider. People didn't really think about oh my God, I could do that. That's really an aspirational thing, and people were into it, and it worked for them. So, those are the kinds of things that we're really, really hopeful for. The other thing too that this concept does is that it enables us to support it with paid advertising as well. So, for example, if we were to advertise, Country Christmas over the course of 2 months, leading up to and during the entire event in the Valley Reporter, maybe a lot of us are advertising in the Valley Reporter already. If we can, include a thing about the Country Christmas thing, they're going to use that as an opportunity. I bet we could talk to them if you advertise during this period. Maybe we'll get an ad break on advertising because they want to encourage us to do that and promote it locally. Because shopping locally also means advertising locally on DEV and Valley Reporter and things like that. It's really important that we do that and think about it not just from a retail perspective or from a restaurant perspective or a farm perspective, because they're in this too. But by doing this kind of a concept, we can also try to encourage groups that are out there that want to have special events during this period as a vehicle to promote them. So if the Arts Festival, has, has, Christmas.
We have a show running, right?
Right. That's just something we add to the mix. This is just yet another great thing that's going on during Country Christmas, and we can promote it. We don't have to create anything. It's already there. That umbrella's already there.
Plus the wreath building that you do could be a thing.
And Ginger, you brought up when we were talking like last week, I think it was, about the cookie.
And the
Yeah.
holiday Taste of the Valley. That's a huge event for.
Oh, right. That was you that was doing that, right?
Yes.
And like
spearheads it.
and the idea with this is, you go take your time to have fun and do that event and plan that event, and don't worry about the promotion, because the promotion will be taken care of, because it'll all fall under this umbrella. You don't have to create it. And I think that if we can do that, we can be more encouraging, because people want to do fun stuff. They don't want to go and promote it. You know, most people. Some of us like that kind of stuff, but it really allows people to be creative and do the things that they want to do, and leave the promotion crap to other people.
Eric, do you have a logo or something that can be used in our ads?
Absolutely, and it's the Mad River Valley logo. And I think that's the thing. It's more of that. I think the hashtag, I think what we'll do is very simple. We'll use the Mad River Valley logo, and we can Christmas it up and just say Country Christmas right underneath it. We want to just keep reinforcing that logo over and over and over.
Yeah.
We want all of our retailers to use that logo and have that on your website. We want not just retailers, we want everyone to use that. It's being used.
That's
The
branding,
Rotary,
yeah.
the Rotary is putting up signs on either end of the valley. It's a big deal that says "Welcome to the Mad River Valley," and we're creating this sense of place, which we never really had before. You know, it's something that we've really wanted for a long time, and it's happening, and it's happening organically, which is really cool. The towns are using it, the planning district's using it. I went to a Mad River Recreation District meeting, and I saw the business cards and everything. It was like, oh my God, everything's branded. I actually gave somebody my card, and I gave someone Joshua Schwartz's card from the planning district by accident, because they looked the same. And I was like, oh my God, it's actually happening. And it really is really important, because this is our identity. It's our trademark, and we need to use it. And we want to encourage people to use it and everywhere and link it. So we got to make it Christmassy.
The reason I ask
Yeah.
is our ads are getting done now.
Now, yep.
So we'll need that
Yep.
ASAP.
We will get that out to you for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be an easy thing. How does that concept sound?
I think it sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the right word, but like not having a one day thing, which is ideal. I also wonder if things that were super special on that day will still happen. Do you know what I mean?
No, and I think what
That,
we
like,
want to do is we
it's-
want to encourage those things to happen.
Yeah. I mean, because I think the reason it went from 2 days to 1 day was because it was losing its momentum
Mhm.
and it was falling on the same people, year after year, and they kind of were like, this is all I can do, is
Right.
this 1 day. But would somebody still do, the ox rise? Like, who's that somebody? Like, if
Mhm.
it's not a group per se, if everybody's doing their own thing, how do I know Joni didn't decide to get the reindeer and Santa? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is there still going to be the group meeting?
I think that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Is and what I would like to think is that we can work as a clearinghouse here at the chamber for sure, but it seems like these events have been going on historically. The Taste of the Valley, the
last year was
the holiday was the
This
first
is
year, and the Santa Claus down at Mad River Green, right? I would imagine, the way I'm imagining this is that each of, the Bridge Street, the folks down there can get together to do those things. Like, we're gonna organize, Santa Claus to come on whichever day. So that, when you say who's gonna do all this stuff, all you're doing is what was already done, and you're making it less because you don't have to deal with the promotion and all of that.
I
So
think that's what I meant. I don't mean I meant
Right.
I think we want to encourage. We're saying like
Planning.
we're creating this vehicle for you folks to help yourselves, and we can give you a tool to do that. So we can say, Bridge Street, let's get together down here and say, what do we want to do?
Well, I think Patty's asking a really, interesting question. And, what I hear you saying is that, maybe you're answering your own question, that it went from 2 days to 1 day, and they're for a reason. Because, it's losing its momentum for a reason. Because maybe there's not as much interest in, for what planning or. So we have an email list. I think it's retail@maverickvalley.com. And, maybe we could use that to coordinate who's doing what, that kind of thing. Certainly I can be a point person on something of that kind of planning. But, we have Karen that's really into this as well, of getting Bridge Street together.
Yeah.
And so you can have multiple weekends of doing something, and then 1 day where it's oxen rides, or Santa's coming, or marshmallow toasting, or just Bridge
Whatever.
Street. But throughout that season,
Yeah.
there could
There's
be
more.
multiple events.
If I can make an offer, Valley Arts took over Country Christmas 3 years ago when it was going to be dropped completely.
Right.
And we expanded it to 2 days, and then the merchants told us they only wanted it 1 day. That's why we went back to 1 day.
Oh, okay.
But we have a file of all the contacts that I can give you.
That'd be great.
Okay, that's
Of
fine.
how it was, who did what, when, where, why.
Right,
I
well,
can-
that would be
I can
great.
get that to you.
That would be great, Gary.
If I can make a suggestion.
Sure.
I think we should start it the weekend before Thanksgiving.
That's.
To try and capture those people who would traditionally want to do Black Friday. Let's get them beforehand.
Well, right. Well, let me offer what I think is going to happen is we're working on the memory tree, and if you recall, the memory tree, we took that over last year, and it was in conjunction with the Festival of Lights, but this year we're doing it as a kickoff to Country Christmas, and it's going to be on November 19th.
Okay.
So that's going to be the
The
date.
weekend before.
That's the Tuesday before the weekend before. So that'll be a good day, and that was a really successful fundraising event. And this year it's going to be for the ambulance service, which is celebrating 50 years. And the Winsmith Family Foundation matches. And last year, I think we raised $8,000 for Vermont Adaptive. So, so this year, so that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna kick it off, and with the lighting of the memory tree on November 19th, followed by a party at Lawson's, and then that's gonna be the Country Christmas thing.
Right, and that's a good example. This is an event that's already going on, and we can add to it very easily. And again, I think if we can encourage people to do the fun part, which is doing the events and having them and greeting people and making that stuff happen, so you don't have to worry about promoting them.
So that's great, because if the memory tree is the Tuesday, and then Sugar Bush opens on the Friday, the 22nd, and then the taste is the 23rd. So we immediately that first week have a little momentum. I know I came in late, I do apologize. Small Business Saturday is really, really, really promoted all over social media by some of our neighboring
Great point.
communities. And it's been a nothing here. I've talked to some other retailers, it doesn't drive anybody here. Whereas, so if there's some way through social media, we could boost something. I don't know if it's a voluntary, all the shops each chip in $10, $20. I mean, if we can pool it together and the chamber did some promotions, we'd have a lot of reach there. I mean, because there's a lot of communities that no longer have stores. Middlebury, Northfield, to get them to think about it. 'Cause I think Small Business Saturday is on people's shoppers' radars in terms of Montpelier and Stowe.
No, this
I know
is-
there's that, because it's just built, it's gotten bigger. I mean, are you aware of?
Isn't it American Express? Isn't that the whole?
They started it,
Yeah.
but it's if you go on social media leading up to it, it really is like, so Black Friday is really focused on your malls and your big box major discounts. And then Saturday is supposed to be, I'm going to go to a community with small businesses and support small businesses. And I don't feel like we're capturing that.
I mean, one of the things that I'm really glad you brought that up because it's a huge point. You know, every community in the world has a buy local campaign of some kind or another,
Right.
of varying degrees of success and and also varying degrees of effort. With our budget the way that it is, I mean, there's not much we can do in an advertising sort of sense. For me, I was thinking about this a lot, and in terms of a buy local campaign for the Valley, for me, I view it as awareness that you think about it. That if we can encourage a certain percentage of people to at least think about it, that as we're going into this season, again, this is the sort of thing too that falls under the country Christmas thing.
Right.
That when someone comes up with an idea like this, like, okay, it can fit under this umbrella, at least temporarily.
Right.
So it has some promotional legs to it, so you don't have to do all the other stuff to promote yet another thing. But using that Shop MRV hashtag, I was really thinking about this as, what is it that we can do, at least in the short term, in terms of the buy local campaign. I think it's the hashtags, and it's Shop MRV, which falls into what if we can do, if every retailer, every time they posted anything, could write, type in hashtag Shop MRV, and get used to that. And then the restaurants, it's in Dine MRV, Ski MRV, MRV Trails, things like that, if we can all be consistent with those, and I think one of the things that the Chamber can do is provide those. And we talked about this in the Instagram panel discussion last week.
I'm glad you reported that.
Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, people can go back and get a sense of that. But again, we need to support it with follow-up saying, hey, these are the things these are the hashtags that you should use. And this is an example of a different example of what we're trying to talk about with Country Christmas. What we were just talking about with what we're doing with these taping these workshops and these conversations is that people can go back to them and look at them. We can use in social media saying, hey, go back and watch this. And we can promote this event instead of having the 5 people that are here. We're really extending the reach of it by thinking a little bit more broadly. It's just a microcosm of what we're talking about with Country Christmas. It's the exact same thing. We're going to have this vehicle that we can move around in many different ways and easy, and encourage other people to do it, not just us, so it has more power. So
I totally agree with the awareness part. I think we've had this conversation. In the Valley, I don't see a lot of people saying, you know what, if we drive to Montpelier or Barre, we could go to Applebee's and we could save money, so we're going to dine there. And everyone seems to get why they dine here, but in terms of shopping, it seems to be lost that it's 55 cents or so a mile these days, the IRS rate. Does anyone know what it is? It floats between 53 and 56 cents a mile. So it's 55 cents a mile to drive. So when somebody drives to Williston to buy something to save $10, they've actually lost money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just no awareness of this, and that's if your time is worth nothing. So, there's a lot of things going on. I'm not going to sit here and say I never shop on the internet, okay? I do, but it's not my first, that's the only place I'm going to get it. There's just all these other things that surround where we spend our money, and this Christmas, if we could at least have a day where people make an effort to just look and say, what's available here?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, the expectation is that everything comes from here, but it's just, could people just make an awareness of, hey, I've never been in that store, you know, go in there.
Yeah, and the
see
power of
what's about.
suggestion too.
Yeah.
That if we can start thinking about, you know, gift certificates to restaurants, gift certificates to the movie theater, things like that. I mean, instead of doing the Amazon gift certificate, you know, if we can encourage that and make it top of mind for people. And it's not going to happen overnight. You know, it's going to be one of those things that we have to keep doing over and over and over again. You know, having that hashtag ShopMRV, but also supported with all the great social media stuff that you're doing, and showing all the interesting products that you have, and showing the new housewares that, you know, all of those things. I know they're not new, but for me they were new. And that you're showing what's out there, and you're showing the great products, you're showing the stuff that you're doing, the services and the new events that are coming up, and, you know, whatever the makers are doing. Like, there's all these great stories that you guys are already doing it. If we can start doing it collectively with more of a purpose of Shop MRV, and if we keep talking about that, and it's, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I think educating each other as well. Like, I'm just as guilty of not knowing what might be happening in other places as well, or just on a regular day-to-day basis. You know, I'm looking for, you know, skincare or whatever, or not even skincare, but a product, for example, and somebody might not go, oh, well, Joni has products. They might just think she but she does facials and all those other things, but not knowing that she's got some beautiful, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Right,
if,
exactly.
for example, like a lot of the bed and breakfast owners have become customers of mine. So I know so many times people come in and they'll say, oh, Linda sent me so-and-so, sent me so, because they're my customer, they know what I have, and they come. But what about all those other B&Bs that have never stepped foot in my store, so they don't even think to send somebody to me when they say, oh, I need a lamp. They wouldn't say, oh, go to the green closet. Yeah, you could have come there. Like,
Right.
because we don't know what each other do. I haven't even been in your store yet. Like, I'm embarrassed to say that. I don't even go that way usually. But like, what if we all took a, you know, and would people come? Like, if the chamber did a Bridge Street tour of each other's stores and saw exactly what's in there.
Oh, that'd be
And then we did a tour of the Waitsfield stores, and we did a tour of Warren. Like, I've never been in Pear and Warren. There's stores, I live here, I haven't set foot in. So if I didn't, but I send people to the same places all the time, because I know, oh, you can get a good sandwich here, you can get your beer that you want there, oh, this will be here. But there's things I know I don't know. You know, people are looking for neckties. Like, so many men come to the Valley, forget they have a necktie for a wedding. And, you know, they go to this store, they go to that store. I have this huge collection because I got a bunch of vintage ones, but nobody would know, oh, send them to Patty, or they might. But you know what I mean? Like, if we all knew what each other offered.
And it's hard to advertise everything that you have as
Well,
well.
exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't look at everything, because I think to myself, like, well, you could say, oh, I have products on my Instagram, but all these people don't look at Instagram, right? They're just in town visiting.
Right.
Or not Jeff, you know?
And even it's on your side.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
things that, you know, I think I would really encourage, you know, Ginger and I were just talking about this yesterday, as a matter of fact. You guys get the email updates from the chamber every Monday.
Yeah.
Do you get the visitor ones on Thursday?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, because I want to make sure we start doing that, because looking at it from a visitor perspective, you know, these are the ones that we're sending out, obviously very different content, some overlap.
Yep.
But that should help you know what's going on, as we do a better job of getting that visitor information out there. And, you know, and we've been talking a lot lately since I've come on board, and like really trying to figure out what it is that we're trying to promote and how to go about doing this. And the bottom line in the Mad River Valley is that there's awesome stories here. There's really cool people doing really interesting stuff, making a living in really cool ways. Like, you don't realize like some of the stuff that's going on here. And I've been stuck up at the ski area for so long and looking at it in a really myopic way and not looking at it from a broader perspective. And now I'm like, oh wow, they're meeting all these people that I've never met before. And I feel like it's our job at the chamber to tell those stories. And we're creating vehicles, literally, to tell those stories, again, mostly on social media and blogs and things like that. And again, the reason that we're trying to do that is that make it easy to share. So when you talk like, oh wow, I've discovered, wow, she sells these great products. I didn't realize that. I thought she was just doing waxing and facials and things like that. You have something to send to somebody. You can show them, like, here, this is that interview that we did with, you know, with Joni, and check this out, it's really cool.
Well-
Check out, you know, we had this, you know, we went to the honey tasting, you know, at the Taste Place, and wow, that was really cool. That guy that makes that cider, you know, the tin hat, wow, what a cool guy he is, you know? And it is, and there's all these great stories, and you can't possibly know them all, But if we can create a place, a receptacle for them where we can easily share it, that's going to be the best thing.
Well, to your point, from where you live, every single day you had to drive all through the valley to get up to Mad River and back. And how many stores would you see our signs, or because they become invisible when you go by every day? Could we get a gift card that's the Shop Mad River Valley gift card? So instead of buying Amazon, you get this.
I think that
Is there
it's ideas like that are awesome. Right now, not a chance, because logistically and cost-wise, I don't think it would be, we can't do it. But I think it's a really good potential idea. But we got to really look that through. And that's the sort of thing from a membership perspective. When we have more members, we can do more. And right now, if you really look at it, you know, the chamber has a really small budget. It's about $135,000 a year, something like that. And you know, when you take out salaries and you take out, you know, for 1.5 people and the rent for this place and running the website, there's nothing left. And if you look at it, you get a pretty good value for it though, because this place is really important, having this visitor center, because how many people are coming in here? Where do I go to the bathroom? Number one, but where are the covered bridges? Where should I go? What hike should I go on? Where can I have lunch? You know, where should I go shopping? There's all these questions people get. We send people there every day. Like, you got to go down there, you know? And when we send them down there, hopefully they're going to stop in and like, oh, what's going on here? And then the collection and all these other places that they're going to say. Having this place here is really, really important. If it wasn't here, you know,
But it doesn't have
people
to be.
would stop. And the website too. You know, when someone goes, if you go to the wine country of California, you go to the New Jersey Shore or wherever, you're going to go online and do research and find out what's going on in that community. And having that website, generally speaking, they tend to be chambers of commerce or visitor information bureaus that have this information. If we didn't have MadRiverValley.com, a lot of people wouldn't know what was going on here and wouldn't know what to do unless they were coming here to go skiing. Because there's so many diverse and disparate things that people do that are lures here. So it's a convoluted way of saying, like, we need to get our membership levels up. And as you talk to your colleagues, like, please, you know, encourage them.
Like you were just saying though, everybody's using the Mad River Valley logo.
Mhm.
So everybody.
Not everybody.
Well, no, but some of the big one, the planning district,
The towns.
the towns, everybody's using. So if somehow everybody was able to get some money together, so it's not just on the chamber to make a gift card available where you
Mhm.
could buy it everywhere. So not just chamber members, but everybody. So
Yeah.
you could go to Shaw's and say, hey, I'm buying this
Yeah.
Mad River Valley.
Or you can
gift
go to
card.
Kingsbury's.
Or go to Kingsbury's
Yep,
or
and
Muron's
use it for
or
your
wherever.
septic
Yeah.
sucking. Yep.
And then everybody could just buy these Mad River gift cards.
Mhm.
Something to look into cost-wise, and then talk generally to the bigger guys, like the community fund.
Mhm.
You know,
It's an interesting idea.
Eric, going back to what she said, I'm trying to think of the town where we found this. I think it was up in Maine. When you went to their website and you went to a particular store and you clicked on it, you got maybe 30, maybe 45-second video
A
of
tour?
what that store was.
Mhm.
Now that would be, I mean, would take a year to put that together, but it's something the chamber could consider that wouldn't cost money.
Gary, working on it.
oh, good. Good.
Well, we do have that, we have that ability because we moved to a tiered level membership. We have at certain levels the video. So, and everything is available a la carte. So if you want a video on your listing, you can have that. So we have people who have come to us who have given us, Alan Hurwitz, who is the Sugarbush video producer, came to Jasmine and I 2 years ago and said he wants to work with us. He gave us such a discount to create videos for our members at the Black Diamond level.
Right, and a good example of the one is the one that was done for
VG.
VG. Was a great one, and West Hill House.
And West Hill
was-
House has one that, yeah, I mean, so you can have one done a la carte, or if you invest at a higher level, of membership, you get these benefits. And so it is a choice.
Yeah, these are only like 30 seconds.
Yep, and that's exactly what we have some ideas
Yeah.
really soon coming to do just that.
Right.
But
I mean,
I'm not telling
again,
you yet.
we're one and a, I'm, 20 hours, he's, 80 hours or whatever Eric does. So
But I work
that's-
really slow, so.
But,
But
yeah.
that would really solve the problem. You were talking about not knowing what other people have.
Right, so if you did it yourself, if you took a video of your store and then gave it
Yeah,
to
you
me,
could put it in
I'd
your listing.
upload it onto your listing. You know
Wow,
what I
Ginger, I
mean?
thought you were actually
That would
gonna
be-
point out how the members actually have access to their listings and can do it themselves.
Well, they could.
I tried
but
to do
I'm-
that. I need to ask you how to do it.
I'm
I
a
couldn't
member
get into mine.
services, so I'm happy to help the members do it, but I could also show you how to do anything on your listing.
Okay.
So, yeah, but that's
Absolutely.
a phenomenal idea if you have any video that you want me to throw up there.
And the thing is too, is a lot of businesses have them and they don't realize that they have them. There might be something on YouTube, there might be something that was posted. You can grab that stuff and put it on there, even in the short term. And what's awesome about this digital is that things, it's not forever. You throw something up there, it's a placeholder, and then we'll get something better 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's a really good idea, Gary. Try to, and want to incorporate video more anyway. I mean, just more eyeballs, it's what people want to see.
So, I am going to ask though, given the timing that it's already October, if I could get retailers to pool funds, the effectiveness of a Magical Valley with your followers, because you guys have a lot of people who come here and they eat and they drink here, but they never shop here. And we're trying to increase the audience. So us boosting to our own followers compared to like your list, I just think it would be so much more effective
Yeah,
if we
and-
could boost.
And what I'm hoping is that when we have a nice country Christmas thing that's easily packaged,
Right.
Sugar Wish and Mad River will share it.
Right.
Because it's easy, they don't have to do anything. And that's, when you start talking about increasing the audience,
Right.
that's the way
Yeah,
to do
because if
it.
Sugar Rush, Mad River, and Lawson's shared
Yeah,
it,
and exactly.
those numbers are much bigger.
And what's really nice is just last week, right here, we had a whole panel discussion, and Alana from Lawson's was here, and Dave from Sugar Wish was here, the ones that do all the social media. So we're all on the same page.
Great.
So they are gonna do it, we've been talking about it. So this is what, the real value of the chamber,
Right.
is that we can get these conversations going, which is awesome. So,
Because it really
Yeah.
helps I did have a conversation recently that, I know it sounds weird, but it's kind of like Mad River makers.
makers?
Makers,
Mhm.
as opposed to just food producers. Because, like, I send people down to David and Melanie's, the glass blowing down there. I mean, that's unbelievable what
Yeah,
they're
so
doing.
cool.
And you have all these potters, and I'm obviously a textile artist, but there's all these different people doing all kinds of making here. I mean, because sometimes people think that the arts are fine arts. Whereas makers speaks more to the younger demographic.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The person who says, "Oh, I don't want to go see paintings," and I mean, even though I send them down. By the way, the photo shoot's phenomenal this year. But the reach of makers is hotter right now with the younger demographic.
Yep.
And we have some.
What Valley Arts has done, and if you read our October newsletter,
Okay.
we put our definition of artist is anyone who is creative,
Right.
including culinary,
Right.
your work.
And I
Anyone who
understand
creates.
that, but I'm saying how we're communicating it.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
because when I will give them the Valley Arts brochure out, people, like I say, "Oh, this includes more," and then they go, "Oh, okay," and the interest level spikes. This is just based on my personal experience.
Yeah.
When I pass over the booklet and I talk about everybody else, and I say, "No, we have a lot of makers here," and then for some reason that word gets them.
Do you think that the retail folks would be interested in co-op opportunities for Country Christmas advertising? Is that something we should look into? Maybe 7 Days, DEV, Valley Reporter, any other publications or outlets?
I
I know Valley
I
Oaks
would.
would.
Yeah, because that's something we can start talking.
Mhm.
And what do you think, from your perspective, what interests you guys the most, vehicle-wise?
Social media. I mean, my stream was flooded last year. I mean, it was like, was yours? Are you on Instagram? I can't get over how many I had between Montpelier and Stowe. It was like it just flooded.
So you're saying you'd like to see us do some digital Instagram?
That's,
Okay.
yeah, something that says come to the Mad River, shop the Mad River, and
Uh-huh.
talk about, and it's not just, it's the totality, it's everything. We want them to eat here. We want them to have a full experience here.
If you go to hard copy, I would definitely look into 7 Days.
Yeah.
It seems to have the widest distribution
It
of
does.
any hard copy piece.
Agreed. Totally agree.
You have something, yeah?
I wonder if there would be any value in doing one of those Facebook sponsored ads that you can target your complete demographic as far as where they live, how old they are, interests, etc. In my example of that is I've seen Mad River Distillers has done it with their hopscotch tastings that they're releasing,
Yep.
and every time I log on to Facebook, there it is. And so if we did something that was had the Mad River Valley logo and maybe like the picture of the covered bridge with the lights and everything, which is gorgeously beautiful down here in December, and then so get that attention, and then they can then click on the link to like get the full calendar of events or that sort of thing. But to have one of those that's just constantly there every time you open the app and you're like scrolling through and just catches people's attention for like Anne Marie was saying, that sort of digital advertising, because I think my demographic of people definitely, like, I never picked up a 7 Days unless it's on Facebook and I read the articles from Facebook. So just as a kind of like to catch both sides of it, because I know that there's definitely the value to the hard copy of it too, but I think sometimes people forget about my demographic and we're very digital. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
you.
we spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I'm sitting here and I'm just saying we need to do it needs to be social media, and I'm happy to contribute.
Okay, that's something something to think about. Start trying to put some proposals together and see what we might be able to figure out.
Right.
For sure.
Because you're on social media all the time.
Yeah,
Do you not follow anyone who promotes ads?
on it. Yeah, there's some.
Yeah.
I
And you
mean-
see them a lot.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And they're not cheap. I mean, it's sophisticated. I mean, there's really, and I think what we're trying to do is doubly hard because I'm not promoting Product Think Tank.
Nope.
It's like this whole thing,
That's okay.
and I think it's a challenge, and we got to do it right. And I don't want to experiment with your money. You know, that's where I get my reluctance. Is Mad River, I didn't do a lot of paid digital, hardly any, and so I don't have a ton of experience with it. They certainly make it easy, but you can also, it's a rat hole.
Yeah.
It's really cheap, Eric.
Okay,
Like, it's stunningly cheap. It's
okay,
Yeah. Well, after this.
we
we'll
will,
have a talk about
absolutely,
numbers.
but yeah, I think this is something this is exactly the kind of conversations that I want to do. What is it that people want? What is it they're working? We want to work, the chamber wants to work with you folks to help, give you the, the place to kind of collectivize what we can do and be able to spend our money in a more efficient way.
I
Right.
think
So-
DEV is a good idea as well.
What's
I
that?
think radio, I don't know, I love when I hear the Warren Store ads or Troy on the radio is really interesting to me. I think that radio catches a lot of people as well.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good
not
point.
that
if
expensive.
you go on,
What's that?
if you go on WDEV.
Yeah.
Well, we can, and Troy does a lot there as well, and
And he
we
promotes
can work with him.
everybody.
Yeah, he does, and he's great with
Incredible.
that, and we can, and that's the sort of thing is really piggyback onto what he's doing. And the other thing too is who is marketing, is it locals, is it visitors? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I imagine the visitors are, really, we're, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Is it the visitors more important?
I think, well,
That's probably not the way to say it.
yeah,
but-
definitely not more important, but for the month of December, we are heavier with visitors. And we actually get the most local traffic sort of on the shoulder seasons because they know they can come in without having to wait in like obnoxious lines and whatnot. Which is, and they'll, so at that same point, they'll come in on Sundays instead of Saturdays during farmers market season. But I think that if you want to get the, because I think the locals are coming anyway, like if they like your business, like what you're doing, they need whatever service it is that you have, they're sort of coming anyway. If you're just trying to uptick that amount of traffic that you're already getting, you got to focus on the visitors. And if they're coming anyway already, it's just a more of a tell them why to come, like even more so, like, because my experience is that we get during the winter, whichever partner it is that's up skiing, there's always someone that doesn't want to ski, and that's when our fireplace and a glass of wine is the most attractive thing in town, you know. So it's and just letting people know that they can do that, which we're definitely still struggling with. You know, we're every day I have somebody come in and just look around and ask me what this place is, which is wildly entertaining.
So, and there's there's two types of visitors too. You know, there's the one and done comes here for a wedding that we hope we're gonna get back.
Right.
And then there's the second homeowner. And there's a lot of second homeowners. And they're great, but it's to get them off the mountain. That's the challenge.
A lot of second homeowners get the Valley Reporter delivered to their houses. You know, so that's a
They're also on Front Porch Forum too, is what I realized. Yeah, and they're a lot of them in Boston or whatever are definitely reading like the Waitsfield Front Porch Forum, which I think is really cool too. Yeah.
Well, you know that because when you go to Front Porch Forum by town, and you look at the percent of the town that's participating, and we're at like 183%, because there's so many out-of-towners who are on Front Porch Forum.
Eric, is there a way, and I'm saying this because you worked at Mad River, is there a way of getting more promotion for the towns at the two ski areas? And
I think both ski areas are really open to it. I know at Mad River, I was begging for things to promote, like, and I literally in my email updates every week, I added down in the Valley section, and you know things going on. I had the film festival at the Big Picture, you know, Country Christmas. I mean, that's the sort of thing, like Country Christmas. If I knew, I could just say, oh, Country Christmas, go check it out. Boom, click, done.
You were very
That's,
good about that.
you know,
Yeah.
that's the sort of thing. And I think Sugar Bush is too. I mean, they're
And
always.
the reason I say this, I instruct at Sugar Bush.
Yep.
You would be amazed at the number of people that I get in classes that have no idea there are two towns down here.
Yeah.
And somewhere there's a gap. They're not seeing the connection.
Well, we've had conversations about, there are people who, they go to the Roxbury Gap, and they go up the Access Road, and they never come here.
Yeah, I've had people that didn't know there were any covered bridges in the valley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
Well,
have
it's
been
funny
here,
because that's our number one question these days, right?
and they've been here any number of times. But she's right. They come over Roxbury, go right up to the mountain.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of segmentation here. I mean, we're talking about about the skiing, the skiers. That's a whole nother
Oh yeah.
thing. I mean, and that's when soon you start getting into the advertising. It's not as easy as you think because there are so many different targets, and you really got to select, you know, what it is that you want to go after. But I think it's telling the compelling stories. I mean, I keep going back to that, and I'm a big believer in that there's no such thing, or there's not many silver bullets in marketing that just, wow, work and take off. It's doing something consistently over the long term and doing it well and creating word of mouth, because that's the advertising that works the best. It's, hey, you should go into the Green Closet because that place is freaking great. You know, that's what it's all about. And I think that we just need to keep telling these great stories and over and over and over again. And if we can create a way where we have a repository for them, so that I'm going to have an interview with Gary, I'm going to have an interview with you, and we're going to have these things that can live for a long time via social media and via websites and things like that. And that's exactly what we're going to be working on. And I'm going to be picking up that vehicle in about 2 weeks.
Stay tuned.
Yep, that's a teaser.
That's a teaser for you folks out there.
Yep. And hint, West Virginia. That's all I'm gonna say. So.
All right.
Is there any other things about I think I'd like to kind of wrap the Country Christmas topic up a little bit. One of the things that I will do is within this week, I will have the bones of a madridvalley.com/Country Christmas webpage built. If you can start feeding me things to put on it similar to what we did. Again, it doesn't have to be a deal. It doesn't have to be a special offer. It can be certainly, but more of a welcome. This is what we do. This is just a little thing about this is what's here.
Right.
Because I think you get a unique story. Every one of the people in this room has a unique story. It's an interesting business, and just tell us a little bit about that, and we will, we'll link to it. We'll link to your page on the website, and we'll do that, and we can easily promote it. The other thing, if you could talk to folks here on Bridge Street, if you could talk to folks, in your neighborhood, and I want to start talking about them in terms of neighborhoods. Middlesex is a neighborhood. Warren Village is a neighborhood. Irisville is a neighborhood. Bridge Street is a neighborhood. The Mountain is a neighborhood. And then if we can start thinking about it in those ways, so that we can start saying, hey, you should go visit some of these other neighborhoods, and be a little bit more inclusive, and not expect people to, do all 4 or 5 of these neighborhoods all in one day.
And if you could get the logo to us.
Oh yes, yeah, thank you, absolutely. I will certainly do that, for sure.
Are we doing anything to recognize Hanukkah, which is the Sunday before Christmas?
I think I'm glad you mentioned that. I was thinking about that yesterday. I make home decor, all kinds of stuff for my store, and it's very largely Christmas holiday. And the few times that I've had some Hanukkah type things in, people are really thankful, and I feel like it is something we should talk about.
Right,
For sure.
and that's, something that should be promoted for that particular day
Right.
under this umbrella.
8 days, 8 crazy nights.
8 crazy nights.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that would be a kickoff for, so are you objecting to the name of?
No, because
Okay.
when we changed it, that got so convoluted. It
Yeah.
was fancy. No.
No, but I think you could just easily falls within it.
Within it.
Yeah.
It is
No,
Yeah,
I
also-
agree.
yeah.
I agree. And so I think that could be an event.
Yeah, Country
Within.
Christmas is the umbrella.
Right.
But then we don't want to forget
Of course not.
those celebrating Hanukkah.
Yes.
It's time to dust off the Miller ads again.
You understand the dynamic duo.
That's right, the dynamic duo. Right?
Wait, what?
You have 2 Jews here.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, go figure.
Yeah,
Sweet.
we're on it.
we're on it.
Shalom.
All right, would you like to close?
Yeah,
out
does
this
anyone else
meeting?
have anything they want? Because I think we've wrapped up in terms of what expectations are going forward.
Yeah,
So
it's
please let
exciting.
me know, we'll start building this thing out. We're gonna start promoting it in the email updates. And hopefully we'll start getting things flooding in. And hopefully each time we go through this, people will they'll grasp it better. And they're like, oh yeah, I can just easily do it. And we can even recycle things that, you don't necessarily have to redo what you do.
Right.
So we'll make it easy, work smarter, not harder. Well,
Sounds
thank you
good.
guys so much for coming. I hope you folks at home get something out of this as well, and know that we're here working for you and for the business community generally. So thanks so much for attending and participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.